Hi, it's me again. It's happened again. Unfortunately, we're stuck in the doldrums, and it seems like we've had another set of classified leaks in the War Thunder community. What a time to be alive when it comes to all of these things. I feel like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, just the little depressed donkey wondering when the next time this is going to happen. It is unfortunately inevitable at this point that people will continuously just do very silly things and hopefully not get any repercussions. So, what happened this time? It's the F-15 and the F-35, because why not? Why not just do that too? And there was stuff posted on Telegram, which is of course the Russian social media platform, and then transferred onto the War Thunder forums, because of course if something is available on the internet, that means it's legal to have and legal to see. That's something that I've learned from many people nowadays, even though it's completely wrong. So, what was leaked? Basically, stuff about the F-15 Eagle itself, the engine maintenance manual for the F-110, which is used by the F-15 SA, which is the Saudi Arabian variant of the F-15, and also the flight and maintenance manuals for the aircraft, which are also posted on the Fighter Bomber channel on Telegram. This was then yoinked and brought over to, of course, the War Thunder forums, where it started to be used for other parts. Basically started to question if the F-15 has its correct abilities, even though we don't have that specific variant in the game. Then the F-35 Lightning II, also documents of it got leaked, the good old 5th generation fighter of America. And for some reason, that was also posted on War Thunder, because people just can't stop trying to get their rocks off when it comes to these things. And yeah, that was not exactly fully declassified, or not at all, actually. So what has ended up happening is hopefully whoever leaked it will get in some serious trouble. But it also shows a big problem with the internet. In fact, all it takes is 1 or 2 seconds to be able to leak information, which really shouldn't be out there. And after doing a bunch of videos about these topics, and also just seeing these continuously happening, there is a real issue with people just not caring or not understanding the laws of the land, or, as I said, just not really being interested in it and just trying to push stuff forward. At least this time, it doesn't seem like it was a leak which was based around pride and based around trying to get something changed in a video game. Those are the most ridiculous ones when you see it in the past, but this one is still pretty rough, because it is once again taking classified information and putting it out on the internet. And the reason for doing it, who knows? Maybe people were trying to ego boost, maybe people were trying to prove a point, or maybe somebody just saw something cool and wanted to share it. But it also just shows how much of this information is flowing around the place. One of the areas that eventually will get targeted when it comes to stuff like probes and things like that is places like Discord. Because Discord nowadays just straight up has a bunch of channels which are filled with these things. Or a bunch of servers, I should say, which are filled with this information. And people actually take pride in trying to collect it and understand it and go through it. And then you have to wonder if it's nefarious, or you have to wonder if it's from somewhere else. The interesting thing about these leaks, though, this time, is the reason why people are saying they're legitimate is because they were a Chinese security expert says that they appear authentic. And you know who to trust the most about, authenticity? It's definitely Chinese experts. Love that. Especially since a lot of the time when it comes to their own stuff, they're not exactly telling the full truth on things. But overall, the fact is, stuff like the F-15 just got added to the game, and we obviously had the newer variant, which just also got added with the active radar homing missiles, and this, as I said previously, is just going to get worse. There isn't any benefit to doing this, if you decide to do it for in-game purposes, Gaijin will never change stuff based on classified information. They don't want to see classified information. There is absolutely no point in it, because they can't act on it and won't act on it because they don't want to, because they don't want to get into trouble, and it is, of course, against the law. Then, on top of this, all you do is put everybody in jeopardy. You put yourself in jeopardy. You put the company in jeopardy. You put the game in jeopardy. You put everybody in jeopardy. There's literally no point in doing it apart from trying to measure your dick size. And as we all know, that's not exactly very useful. So we're sat in this area once again where this is just going to consistently happen. As we go forward, especially in aviation, it's just going to keep happening. It happened in ground, and it still happens this day in ground, by the way, where there's just so many people just trying to edge others in the pride game of who is right about whatever little thing on a vehicle. We even see it with stuff like the Abramses, with their armor. People are really trying to edge towards letting out information. We've seen it many times. And this time it's just a random dump of information that's turned up on Telegram, which people are trying to move around the place. And this will happen more and more going into the future, especially with stuff like the F-22, the F-35, and even stuff like the Eurofighter, which could easily come out in the next year or so, which would be kind of nuts. And the problem with this is pretty simple. We have, at the moment, a generation of people who live on the internet, and they work on the internet, they go through the internet. You know, obviously when it comes to my work, my actual work, not this stuff, there is a decent internet component. And when you're on the internet, it's very hard to remember all the different laws and all the different things from the different lands that you have to work around, especially if you work in an international space, which most people do nowadays at least. And we're just going to go into this ever-increasing, confusing world where you're going to have laws which basically cover everything, but it's going to be very hard to actually enforce them because of the fact of, you know, working out where stuff's from, and also can you actually legally enforce it in the area that that person is from if you can find out where they're from. And that's the big one right there. Because if you have somebody, let's say from the US, who shares something privately with somebody in, let's say, the Czech Republic, for example, and then they post it online, is there a way for there to actually be repercussions for that person? I mean, maybe, depending on different treaties and different relationships, but at the end of the day, it's going to be very, very hard to sort something out. And is it even worth doing it? I suppose it depends on who decides what's worth cracking down on, but right now, obviously it's not happening. This is going to continue to happen, it's going to continue to cause controversy, and it's going to continue to be bad, not just for the game, but the overall community. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shea, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.